So students, we have studied till now all the 5 different sources of human capital formation. That was investment in education, health, on the job training, migration and information. So whenever a particular person is going to or individual is going to spend money on education, health or any of these 5 different sources of human capital formation, then that is called as the investment, because the future earnings of a particular individual are going to increase due to increase in his labor productivity. So after this, let's study this first point given here. It is written here that the difference between human capital and physical capital. So this difference I have already sent you in your group PDF. So in that you can read one by one all these points of difference between human capital and physical capital. So the first point of difference here is human capital considers education and health as a means to increase labor productivity. So whenever any investment is made, maybe in education or in health, then it is only done just to enhance the labor productivity. So human capital is directly concerned with the enhancement in the labor productivity of an individual. So if the labor productivity of an individual is going to rise, then automatically his future earnings will increase, right? So this is what is human capital. Now we'll move on to the physical capital. I'll read that first point in physical capital. Human development is based on the idea that education and health are integral to human well-being. So human I was going to tell you about this physical capital. So in physical capital, what happens is that it is used to produce goods and services, right? So in physical capital, when we study, then we see that physical capital is used to produce goods and services. Different type of goods and services are produced by it. Like for example, if land is there, then this land is going to be used by any farmer to produce crops of wheat, rice, whatever. Then this land will become a physical capital, because this will be used to generate income. Apart from this, maybe machinery could be there, maybe any type of tool or implements can be there, which are taken to be as physical capital, and when these are used to produce goods and services, then it is called to be as physical capital. Whereas on the other hand, in human capital, the efficiency to produce goods and services, okay, human capital, when we take, then the efficiency to produce goods and goods and services can be increased. So as we have studied that in the human capital, investment is made in education or health. When this type of investment is made, then automatically what happens, that the efficiency of a particular individual is going to rise, okay, to produce goods and services. If we come again to this physical capital, then in the physical capital, this physical capital is sold in the market. Physical capital can be sold, maybe machine can be sold in the market. But on the other hand, this human capital cannot be sold, right? But the services of human capital can be sold only. Number of hours of working. This is a type of service which is provided by any human, and this can be sold. These services can be sold in hours. Next is third point. Physical capital depreciates over time due to continuous use of or due to change in pattern of demand. Physical capital may be depreciating when it is used continuously. Like for example, if a machine is used in a particular company to produce goods and services, then continuously year by year its value will be declined. due to its continuous use. On the other hand, maybe if there is a demand, if the demand pattern is going to change, then this particular physical capital can also become obsolete. Obsolete means now it will be of no use. Like for example, previously the typing was done on the page by typewriters, but now from the time this keyboard has come, then it has taken the place of typewriter. Right? Now the printing is done by this computer system with the help of the keyboard. Now, therefore, the machines which were producing typewriters are now no more in use. So, they have become obsolete. So, this type of depreciation can take place in physical capital. But on the other hand, if we take the example of human capital, then in human capital, due to aging, okay, if I read it from here in your NCERT book, it is written there, both forms of, I am reading from page number 86 and third last paragraph, okay, second last paragraph. Both forms of capital depreciate with time, but the nature of depreciation differs between the two. Continuous use of machine leads to depreciation, and change of technology makes a machine obsolete, as I told you, typewriter and this keyboard. Apart from this, in the case of human capital, depreciation takes place with aging. You can see here, depreciation may take place in human capital when a person is becoming more aged, a person is becoming more older. But this type of depreciation in human capital can be reduced. How can it be reduced? If I'm reading more from here, but it can be reduced to a large extent through continuous investment in education, health, etc. So this type of depreciation means the efficiency of a particular individual can be increased if more investment is done on education or health or any other source of human capital formation. So this type of depreciation can be reduced in human capital. Okay. On the other hand, if we come to the fourth point of physical capital, then physical capital is separable from its principal. That is, whoever is the owner of a particular machine, this owner and the physical capital, that is the machine, can be separable. Like for example, a transporter whose buses are running on the road. The owner of the transport company, he himself has not, should not go with the bus. It is not compulsory for him to move with the bus or to drive the bus. He can send this bus, okay, for transportation, or maybe trolley for transportation from one place to another by giving it to some particular driver. So this physical capital is separable from the owner of the capital. But if we come to the human capital, then it is written that in human capital, it is not separable. Why we say that it is not separable? Because if a doctor is going to operate a patient, then he cannot send anyone else to go and operate the patient. It will be a very problematic incident will take place, okay, if he is going to send anyone else to operate a patient. He himself has to go and operate the patient because the skills are inbuilt in himself. Are you understanding? So this human capital is not separable. It is inbuilt in the particular individual. On the other hand, if you see in the fifth point of difference, then formation of physical capital is an economic and technical process. So this formation of physical capital is related to economical and technical process. If the technology is going to improve of this particular machinery, then it can produce more, isn't it? And it can lead to economic growth. But on the other hand, if you take the example of human capital, then formation of human capital is partly a social process and partly a conscious effort of the processor of the human capital. So this means that uh, partly this human capital is a social process. Like for example, in physical capital it was an economical process. As more and more money is going to be spent, a good technological new machine can be purchased. But on the other hand, if we talk about human capital, then it is a social process more, because a person who is living in a particular society, and whatever is the tradition or custom of that particular society, the human who is living in that particular society is going to change himself in that same particular order. If a particular person is living in a society where more educated people are living, then the person is going to improve himself in that particular investment in education only. So it mainly depends on the social process. And with the same, if we take the example of a rural country, rural India, then the people who are there, they are not more educated. Then other people also sees that, okay, others are not educated, why should we? So this type of human capital formation is a particular type of social process. On the other hand, it is partly a conscious effort of the processor of the human capital. That means whatever are the wishes of a particular individual, okay, what is his conscious saying to him, that you must educate yourself, you must spend money more on health activities, or like this. Okay, if a particular individual is trying to improve himself by investing in education or health, then it is a partly a conscious process, what a person is wishing to be, right? So here these are the 5 different points of physical capital and human capital. So let's see the another point here. What is the relationship between human capital and economic growth? So let's see what is the relation between these human capital. Is human capital going to lead to more economic growth? So let's see. This is on page number 87. I am going to read from there. Who contributes more to national income? A worker in a factory or a software personnel? We know that the labor skill of an educated person is more than that of an uneducated person, and that the former generates more income than the latter. So you can see here it is a simple process, that if a person is going to be educated, then who is going to earn more? We know that if we are going to take 2 persons, worker in a factory and a software professional, what is the difference between them? There is a software professional who is more skilled, educated. On the other hand, worker in a factory is not. So software professional is going to earn more income. This means the software professional is going to contribute more to the national income. Are you understanding? Right? Economic growth means the increase in real national income of a country. Now, economic growth means what? Economic growth means when the real gross national income of a country is going to increase. So real national income of a country is going to increase means when we compare with GDP, total production taking place in primary, secondary and tertiary sectors. Whatever is the money value of all the final goods produced in these 3 sectors, then we divide it by the population and we get what is the actual income coming per person. This real national income is used actually to verify the standard of living of the people in a country. If the people's income is coming higher, then it tells us that okay, the people in a particular country is going to live more standard life. Their living standards are going to rise high. Okay, and so same we see here. Okay, that economic growth means when the real national income of a country is going to increase, and this particular real national income, which is directly connected to the standard of living of the people, this is actually a particular study which is used to compare the different countries. What are the living standards of people in different countries? Okay. Naturally, the contribution of educated person to economic growth is more. So, why directly speaking that, naturally, if we say that an educated person is going to contribute more to the economic growth of a country, because as we see here that economic growth here means directly increase in the real per capita income, real national income when it's going to increase. So, if a person is going to be educated, then he is going to contribute more to the national income. This means human capital is directly related to economic growth. More human capital formation will lead to more economic growth of a country. If a healthy person could provide uninterrupted labor supply for longer period of time, then health also is another important factor. So, if a person is going to provide more services, uninterrupted labor supply, we call it, for a very longer period of time, it means the health of a person is going to be also much improved. It means the person is particular investing in health also. Okay, and therefore this investment in health is also leading to economic growth. Thus, both education and health, along with the many other factors, so education, health, and other type of sources of human capital formation, like that of on-the-job training, migration, are also leading to economic growth of a particular country, right? So, hence we can say that human capital is directly related to economic growth of a country. This enhanced productivity of human beings or human capital contributes substantially not only towards increasing labor productivity, but also stimulates innovations and creates ability to absorb new technology. So, investment in health and education not only is going to enhance the labor productivity of a person, but it also leads to innovations. New inventions are going to take place. And with these new inventions, new technologies can also be absorbed if a person is going to invest more in education or health. Okay, whatever new technologies are coming up, people are going to absorb it, means adopt it. Education provides knowledge to understand changes in society and scientific advancements, facilitate inventions and innovations. Similarly, the availability of educated labor force facilitates adaptation of new technologies. So, as I told you, that new technologies will be adapted, and more new inventions are going to take place if more educated people are going to be found in a particular country, or maybe the individuals in the particular country are going to invest more on education and health, and this will lead to more economic growth in a particular country. So, this is what is the relation between human capital and economic growth.